everyone. So listen, if you're a fan of this artist, Rex Ray, and you'd like to watch me ride on his coattails for probably the third week in a row and create some papers inspired by this awesome book, that's what we're going to do today. So I just spent the last, I don't know, couple of hours creating these papers, which I was trying to emulate this beautiful artist. Look at these wood grain things. Anyways, I did it with two colors, magenta and teal and black and white, and there's a big pile of papers here, and if you'd like to do that, then let's do that. I'll see you back over here. Bye. I have the Rex Ray book here. I have a couple of pages marked off that I keep referring to. It's just easier just to clamp them. This is his early work where he was just cutting out shapes out of magazine pages and newspaper and stuff like that and gluing it down, and I find that there's a lot of information buried in here. I also wanted to show you this, which is a page of some of his painted papers. We can do this, guys. We can create textural papers like this. My history with gel printing has always been tons of pattern, much pattern, so much pattern. And I want to depart from that right now. I want to create papers that have less pattern. So I have pulled out a bunch of textural elements, some stencils that I like to use because they're just geometric, some things. And the plan is to play around with two paint colors. I've got blue-green and fluorescent magenta, both by Nova Color. And I also have black and white. The plan is to limit my palette to two colors plus black and white, which I have learned. I learned from Denise Love. I watched a video of hers the other night twice because the most unlikely color scheme that she chose, which was like a dark purple and a light yellow and black and white, yielded the most astounding results. So that's the plan. Also tried relocating my camera back a little ways to see if I can less put my head in the camera, which you guys have been very gracious about, but it drives me crazy. So the first thing I'm going to do is just jump right in. I'm going to put out some just teal blue without any other paint. I just want to get a clean bluish. This has got a little bit of yellow in it, which is a really interesting color. Just want to get one sheet. And what I'm looking for, what I did with you guys the other day, I'm looking for tone on tone. What I want texture, but not pattern. Wallpaper my mom gave me. I'm just going to lay it down, give it a quick rub. It leaves an interesting pattern. And again, I'm using newsprint. Newsprint's 24 inches, so if I don't cut it exactly right, I end up with exposed ends, but whatever. Okay, so I've got just a sheet with more white showing through than I want. What I would like to try to do is not take so much paint away and leave just a texture. I'm going to go in again with that. A little more paint. Yes, I have been completely obsessed with this process. I know my art is starting to look very different than what people have come to expect of me. And I'll tell you, I struggled a little bit about that because, I don't want to disappoint people, but I also don't want to disappoint myself. So even though people say that they like what I produce. I've been playing with botanical gel prints for quite a while. Years, actually years. I think going on 2 or 3 years. And they're fun, but it feels like a little bit like a one-trick pony. You know, when I owned my business Museware, I was constantly trying to break out of the black and white and neutral color scheme and play with different designs and stuff. And you know what, to be honest with you, my customers wanted nothing to do with it. They wanted one thing from me. They wanted Museware. And they really weren't interested in anything else I had to do. Okay, so that's got a little bit of texture, but I'd actually like more. So I'm going to keep going. Now I'm just going to mix things up. What if I take this color and just add, I'll add a little bit of white to it, which we know is going to happen. It's going to turn into a baby color, but whatever. I'm going to mix that right up on the thing. I think I'm going to get that extra gel plate out of the way. I always put it out there because I think I'm going to work on it. This has got a lot of paint, sure-y. I always put it out there because I think I'm going to use it as a palette. And I did the other day, but it was mostly in my way. Okay. Come here, you. You're cramping my style. It's always over there if I need it again. All right. Let me show you something. I don't know how to use this tool yet, but let me just show you what I have figured out. I believe what you do is you lay it down and rock it, and then you drag it down lightly. I'm going to drag this down lightly and rock it. And look at what I have come up with. Look at what happens. You guys are going to love this. It's recognizably Rex Ray, but the way that I do my personal art won't look like it came from him. Wait till you see this, guys. Look at that. Now, I don't love that because it's got a white background, and I still have not learned to overcome my impulsive nature and slow down. But I'm going to take that lighter color, and I'm going to put it on top of this sheet to pull the rest of it. Where's my favorite tool? This is a catalyst wedge. I used it extensively the other day, using it as a baron. One less tool to have on my table. Looky. Now that's getting more interesting. Some of the papers that I showed you a few minutes ago had dozens of layers on them. So I'm going to, you know what? I don't have a system. So I'm just going to do, I'm going to do what I want. So let's see what happens here. Oh, and wait, before I go, watch this. Look at, look at, look at, look at. Yeah, so cool. All right. Now I've added black to this color, which is going to give me a nice, good, dark background. Now, do I put, and have my normal disclaimer, pretty much everything I do on camera is an experiment. I'm not a skilled, experienced artist, so I'm going to take this little guy. Let's see if I can do it so lightly that it barely does anything. See what happens there. What if I just put it on a piece of paper? Well, I can't say it's pretty, but I can say it's interesting. Let me pull this. Let me pull this while it's still pullable. Some of those papers that I showed you that I went through very quickly, they probably have as many as, I don't know, 8 or 10 layers. Oh, fascinating. Look at what's happening here. Just leaving that little bit of black on there. I'd like to try that again, but I'd like to try it with a whole lot less black. I'm having a little bit of trouble with chaos on my table here. Let's do that and just do just a scooch of that. Let's see what happens. Doesn't take much black to overpower this color scheme. It's almost like the first pull, I want to get it out of the way so that I can play around with the second pull. Let me play around. Let's not get all trapped in the wood grain. Let's see what happens when I do that. Okay, so I've got that dark bluish something or other. What if I put something lighter over it? I had to force myself to not get out of bed last night and come in here because I worked. I've got a new project in the works and I worked on it all day long. And I was pooped. So how do I do this? See that wood? I don't know how to begin this. All right. Now, I'm going to put that on top of this black thing. I know some of you laugh at me when I say I'm going to go silent, but this process at some point is going to become very repetitious, and I'm going to have to go silent just because I'll run out of stuff to talk about. Which anybody who knows me well would say, yeah, not happening. All of a sudden I'm starting to feel precious about my expensive Nova Color paints. So I'm going to put away my black and white and pull out my Liquitex Basics. I would like to try this little thing, which I think is going to be hard to pick up because this tape is not acting like the handle that I want it to act like. Somebody called it a flop off. Look what happens. More textures. All right. This is going here. Let's see what happens if I put that on top of this. Oop, gotta be a little less zealous. So I went the other day to 2 secondhand stores and I ran amok buying canvases. This is operator error. I have to show you the things that I just did. I laid magenta down on top of that stuff and textured it with this thing, which gave me this lovely thing. It pulled up the teal that was on there. I'm so annoyed that I didn't record it. And then I had a little bit of, I put a thin coat of teal and covered up this first print, which had a lot of white in it, which, look at that, is not terrible. And then I pulled up the very last of what was there onto this, which is not terrible either. So going back in is this. I'm going to try doing what I did a minute ago, which is having a very thin layer of, you know, see this? This is a squirt bottle. I just squirted. I have no idea what's going to happen. I know that when I squirt the plate before I put the paint down, I get it almost looks like paint that's been blistered by the sun. So let's play with that in a minute. Let's see what we get here. Let's see. If I put that on top of, do I do this? Let's see what happens. I don't love this. I don't like the white background. Let's see what happens here. Fascinating. Very, very interesting. Okay. Now I can see, you guys can probably see it as well. I've got a bunch of papers that I've already made that are all the same value. So now what I need to do is see what happens if I don't keep making the same thing over and over again. Okay, what I need is some lighter things. Let's take this. Let's put some white. Let's lighten it up. Okay. I'm still going to play with this because it makes me a little bit happy, although I have a whole pile of these and I never use them because I didn't think that I liked what they did, but that's changed. Okay, now let's just pull that like it is. Okay, kind of solid looking. Let me, just a clean sheet, see if I can get more of this off. One less tool. Good bearing, guys. Okay. Let me try squirting that with water. These are not liquid paints, so they may not give me the result that I'm looking for. Yeah. Oh, look, it's splitting. But I got a big blob of magenta in the center. But look at this, is splitting, which is what I wanted. I'm going to put that on top of this. still getting the same. This is what I don't know how to do. I don't know how to break the pattern of getting the same value. Those are actually quite, look at this. Look at this thing. Look at what I did. This is from a glue gun. I just drizzled it all over the thing, and I get these really lovely organic things which please me. I'm going to try something lighter over that, which will be a small amount of that and a larger amount of white. Have I told you the color? Turquoise blue. Mix it right up there on the palette. I mean on the plate. I'm going to try this wood grain again on top of this. I don't know where all of these. I've only been working for what, 15, 20 minutes, and I've already lost all my tools. Interesting. Okay, that's going on top of. All right, now I'm getting all like, oh, but it's so pretty. I don't want to cover it up. Okay, that is subtle, and it's lighter finally than everything else I've been getting. Even though I love this, let's go in and see if I can't pick up some of this light color. I'm really pressing down on this because I think that the paint is mostly dry. I'd like to get as much of it as I can. Look at those interesting shapes that you get. All right, I'm going to take quinacridone magenta and see if I can't make a pink. All right, I'm doing this, see? Look at me mixing colors. I'm putting just a dab of that blue so that in theory, in color theory, these colors would be happy together because they have a little bit, oh, that's too much blue, honey. Although, look at what I'm getting. Look what I'm getting, guys. I'm getting like a pinkish, purplish kind of color. Oh, the video that I watched of Denise Love the other day, it's a very recent one, and she's doing all of these. She's doing everything in this Dina Wakley journal. Looks like an old accounting journal or something. And she's mixing colors on one side, on the left-hand side, and making little color swatches. What do I do? See, I do this have you noticed? If you've been around me for very long, you notice that I barrel ahead. I don't have anything planned, so my paint starts to dry. So she makes these swatches on the left-hand side before I forget. And then, using those same two colors, light yellow and like a dark purple, she creates art on the right-hand side, and it is freaking fantastic. Now, this is a new color. Okay, we got this new color. Let me see. Which is a really interesting addition to what's happening over there. I'm going to pull that, not on something, but by itself. So I laid in bed last night. I'm jumping all over the place. Have you noticed? I'm jumping all over the place. I laid in bed last night imagining that I was painting and how I was going to do it and what results I was going to get and how those results were going to, so pretty, transfer. Oh my gosh, guys, look at this. I can't believe I didn't use that tool before. Look at how pretty that is. I should be willing to just leave well enough alone. Let's see if I am. Let me try that again with less blue. Let me see if I can't get a pink. Put a more pink and a blob of white. Let's see. Let's see what happens, shall we? Okay, here we go. Well, that's a pretty kind of raspberry sherbet that reminds me of the Italian ices I used to eat when the ice cream man came around. Oh, look at, I've got blue paint on this. I've been putting my paint so thick. Look at what I've got. Blue paint. That's going to have something on top of it. Let's find out what it's going to be. How about, I'm going to do Payne's Gray, guys. I'm going to Payne's Gray on top of this, which is clogged. Come on, you can do it. Let's see what happens if I put a thin coat of Payne's Gray. Let's pull this and see if it makes a nice background for something. Because I really need dark stuff to mix this up. But this Payne's Gray is going to pull, and it's going to have pink and possibly a little bit of teal on it. You can't see this on camera, I'm sure, but there's wood grain showing through here. Look at what I have here, guys. Look at this. Look at that pretty thing. Oh, these are turning out to be, I can't wait to show these to you. At the end, we'll take a tour. I'll show you what I've been up to. I need to revisit some things. I need to show you guys where I've come so far. So the plan, there's always a plan, and the plan never plays out the way it's supposed to, is for me to create a piece of art, a collage, using what I've created. Okay, so you can see where I've come. So I started to tell you that I went to the thrift stores and I bought canvases. And I'm talking about a girl run amok with canvases. I bought 3 24 by 36 inch canvases, which is so giant. I bought 4 16 by 20 canvases, and I don't care what's on them. What I want to do, here's another one. What I want to do is make something pretty. Make something, I want to make it so big that I can't do it on my table. These are killing me. These are so pretty. Okay. I would like, let's see how this shows up. See, I scraped it off and now the paint's starting to peel off. Fortunately, I'm not trying to make anything solid looking. All right, I'm going to go one more with this, but I'm going to go much lighter. Okay. Well, I think I'm going to go much lighter. Come on, guys. Move out of my way. I don't want to take off too much paint because I want the background. Well, I do want the background to show through, right? Usually it's not a good idea to put your paper down and pull it up because you get weird patterns, but I'm in the market for weird patterns. Okay, that's definitely a baby pink, which is what I said I wanted. I'm going to pull up whatever's left. So one of the things that I introduced to my printing session the other day was black. and gray. Instead of doing that, I'm going to do Payne's Gray, but I'd like to create some dark things with Payne's Gray so that when I go to collage these things, I have some contrast. Very pretty color. I'm going to go back to this thing. Okay, let's pull that whole sheet. Look at how it still has pink in it. That's why it's reading like a dark purple, because it's still got a little bit of pink in it. Yeah, somebody needs to make one of these. These are awesome. Hard time keeping up with the comments, but I absolutely love it that everybody leaves so many of them. It's like awesome. It's like I have a social life, but I haven't left the house. I think I'm just going to pull this. Payne's Gray is nice and transparent though, so I might get a really interesting look. Very pretty. Okay. So I like that. What can I put on top of it? Thin to make the white go away. I'm going to try something. I want to do that again, but I want to do it on top of magenta and a scooch of the blue. That's more blue than purple, and it is quite pretty. So you have kind of a solid background. Look at that color. I'm just going to use this piece of pink and try to get rid of these. What I want is some dark over it. Maybe I'm going to need black. All right, let's depart. Let's depart from Payne's Gray and just do a little bit of black. Because black and white are the colors that I'm supposed to be adding to these things, and I have. But the Payne's Gray is not quite as dark as I had in mind. I'd like to put, what I like about using black is that it leaves a bunch of stuff behind that is easy to transfer onto another sheet. So I'm going to do wood grain again. Still haven't mastered this. All right, let's see what happens. Oh, good. Have you noticed I've got my paper on there really well twice? Okay, that pulled most of it off. So what I'm looking for, I'd like to leave a little bit behind, so maybe I should be less zealous in pulling. See what happens when you get that? See how interesting that is, just adding that little bit of an element? I want to do it again, but maybe I'm going to go really thin on the black. Let's see what happens. See how quiet I am today, guys? Talking to myself. I'm talking to you, but I'm actually talking to myself as well. I don't know what you're supposed to do. Let's try that. Just see what happens. That's going to be another dark thing, though. I'm trying to leave enough behind. And I don't really, that's a very solid thing. Let's try this turquoise. Ooh, yes, baby. That's a little bit of turquoise blue. Let's try that turquoise blue. All right, now. I don't know what this, I don't actually know what the process, I've never seen this done. That's thick. That's a lot of paint. It's not going to give me the result that I want. But it's going over this black sheet. It's leaving a... Oh, look at... Now, when you put it on over paint, it doesn't stick all the way. And look what I've got left. All right, so I've got that, which is not lovely. But what if I put that teal on top of this, which will give me a kind of tone on tone thing, which I like. Let's see if I can get more. This is this same pinkish thing that I made, and now apparently I'm trying to cover up. Let me just do this. Just squirt some water. I don't know what my goal is. I guess my goal is to get something. See, I like the way that splits. If that were more of a liquid paper, paint. Look at what's getting ready to happen, guys, is that I'm getting ready to run out of newsprint, which means I need to go to the home store, but it's not going to be today. So probably what I'll do, I've only got 4 more sheets left. Oh. Looky how pretty. What if I try to do that? I'm going to try to put this kind of texture on top of this piece of paper. I can't really mix things because it... not really splitting that much, but I'm going to do it anyways. Let's put this on there. It's getting a little raggedy looking texture though. I actually feel like I'm going to take some of this paper, some of this paint off of this. Yeah, that's getting grungy looking, and I'm not particularly drawn to grunge for this direction. Sure, why not? I'll just go over it with something white. White and wood grain, because maybe the wood grain will counteract that raggediness and let raggy show through but not look so raggy. Oh, this is easier to use. It's like a stamp, guys. Okay, this is going over this raggy thing. So I don't know what canvas of my find. And you know what? These canvases, by the way, when you buy them at the thrift stores, for a big giant canvas, it's like I don't know, $3, $6, $10 for the one that was actually framed. When I look at those big canvases in Michael's or on Amazon, they are a lot more dollars. I also live in the tiniest little house. It's 672 square feet, which does not leave a lot of, that's pretty, does not leave a lot of room for giant canvases leaning all up against the wall. I feel like I need this again, but maybe dark. So I'm going to mist that. Let's see what we get. Oh, see how much easier the liquid spreads. I don't want to lose that. I'm going to let it split. Let's watch it split for a minute. Look at what's happening. Ooey, ooey. Okay. Am I putting it on something? It's going on this. Just because it's here. So just so you know, I played around the other day after watching, oh gosh, who knows, someone. I played around the other day with baby oil. Oh, the lady with the pretty red hair, Elizabeth St. Hilaire. And I ended up, the water does the same thing. I get the same result. And I don't have baby oil all over my tools. Oh, so another thing I can tell you guys. Oh no, I killed this one. Okay. It's way too grungy looking for my eye. Actually, so is this. The piece of art, the first piece of Rex Ray inspired art that I made, that I agreed to sell to someone. I contacted them because I was having a great deal of resistance about the selling. And I realized it was because I was not proud of the work. I had not created something that I wanted to put in front of somebody. And I basically said, listen, I know it's taken me forever to do this, but I'm not confident in this piece of work. And he was very understanding. And he basically said, go back and work on it if you want. Abandon it if you want. If you decide you want to sell it after you've done whatever you feel comfortable with, let me know. And that's the plan. So now what I want to do is I want to go on camera and remake that piece and cover 75, 80%. What's going on this, guys? Maybe blue. All right. 75 or 80% of what's on there I'd like to cover up, because I've learned a great deal in just the 3 collages that I've made, and also even just painting these papers. I've learned a great deal. And I would like that first collage that I made, inspired by Rex Ray, to look a little less first piece of art. Okay. Oh, look what I have. This is something to do with the floral industry. It is called something like flower wrapping blah blah. And I have enough to last me and every artist that follows me for the rest of their lives. And watch what it does. Let's see if it even shows. Okay, I like the pattern, but I don't like the background. Let's put that right back over this piece because it can't be worse than it is. I have a tendency to reach for the easiest piece because my paint is already drying on the plate. Well, that's not terrible. That did a great deal to subdue this piece and make it interesting, but not raggedy. What if I mix magenta with black? Come here. This is already starting to clog up, even though I already washed it. That is black. That is not a color, but it is sort of a magenta-ish black. Let's cover up all this edge with paint and see if I can't pull this clean. That's going to be, yeah, that's going to be a solid black sheet. Okay, I would like to cover this up. I think I'm going to do it. I'm going to cover it with gray. I'm going to put some black and white. I haven't introduced any gray. And that's a pretty gray, but I can see the warmth in it. This one's actually easier to use than the other. Going on top of the black. I can see the wood grain texture through the paper, which is, I can actually feel it. I really like what's left behind when you do it on painted paper. So there's that, which is not, you know, not awesome. What if I soften this up with what's left? Okay, that is still very subtle, which makes me happy. These last two are going to be magenta. Can you really just do just a scooch? Everything's a big mess over here. Curious, just want to see if anything happens. It just makes it harder to spread. Just makes it float right over the top. Although it is splitting, look it. It is splitting, which I like. What am I putting you on? What about this? All right. Just a little spray bottle of water, guys. It's a misting bottle, so it doesn't put out any big drops. This is very wet. It did not, maybe just plain magenta. This is a very thin coat. All right, let's see what happens. Go right back in. Oh, that's pretty. So look what happens when you put a really thin coat. You can cover up the white, but you can still see the other colors, which I like. Let's see if there's anything here. This makes a nice pattern. Let's bring those in. See what happens. Okay, I'm going to go over that with a thin layer of magenta, which should just give me that pattern on top. This is cardboard, so I don't think it's going to leave a ghost. It usually just absorbs everything. Let's do... Okay. I like this not so much, but let's see what happens. Sure. Let's go right back in. Go right back in and take it. Okay, that does dull it down, so it's not so patterny. I want to try that flower thing again. I want to put something dark. I'm going to try Payne's Gray. Then I'm going to pick up those little spaces that it leaves, and then I'm going to put a lighter color over it. Take a clean sheet. You know, this is going to leave just big blobs, but it's not easy to hold down. Okay, I end up with this, and then I end up with that. This is my final sheet. So this, that has left behind a clean pattern. One sheet I'm going to do, do these say anything about transparency? this is solid. This is a half transparent. I just want to put the pink on top of that, magenta. All right, I'm going to pull this magenta onto this, which gave me exactly what I wanted. Can I? All right, then I'm gonna try, even though this says it's not transparent, maybe if I put it down thin enough. Let's find out how that works. It's pretty solid looking, sure-y. Yeah, this is pretty solid looking. I bought, actually, I follow a designer called Kit Bell, and she works with golden open paints, and she's got a very methodical way of using those paints, and they are gorgeously transparent. Okay, this is going back in. They are gorgeously transparent, and they stay dry, they stay wet, so that she's able to get, that's actually pretty. She's able to get really beautiful pulls. What's going over there? Make a decision quickly. This. She's able to get 4 pulls because so much paint is left on the plate. I'd like to try that next time. The challenge is I don't have a lot of drying space, and those things stay sticky. That's why they're called open. It's okay. It's still very dark, but you know what? I need some dark. Okay. I think it might be time for me to clean up, and then we'll take an inventory. Okay. I've cleaned up-ish. It's always wreckage after I record. I'm going to show you what I have created. Some of these, are not, they're not finished, but I had an interesting session playing with just 2 colors in black and white. Very, very much like the laciness of that. Stuck together. I won't know until I start trying to collage. Ooh, ooey, ooey. That's so pretty. I won't know until I start to collage with these whether or not I'm going to be able to actually do anything with them. But we shall find out. So I've got my range of pinks, a range of blue and pinks, not very many solid looking colors. Now I'm going to start getting into some of the darks. Some of these, you're going to be able to see the color shift. This is when I was doing the Nova colors. You can see that's just a brighter blue. Now they're all mixed in. So I've got I actually have some good contrast, and honestly, since these were all created together with the same colors of paint, they should be happy together. So that's what I have, and I enjoyed doing it with you. I can't wait to see, I'm just going to keep doing this while I'm saying goodbye. I can't wait to see what I end up doing with these. It just feels like there's ample opportunity for me to draw on things. And I just bought a whole bunch of new Posca pens in black and white because I have worn mine out. So, thank you. Thank you for hanging out with me today while I make papers and start telling you stories and forget to finish them and stuff like that. So my name is Cherie Burlington. You know the routine. Well, maybe you don't. I'm an artist. I'm an errant. Errants are people that don't play by the rules. I'm an angel mom. I have a son in spirit. And I know a lot of you people in my in my viewership also have children in spirit. And we find each other, guys. Anyways, taking this tour one more time because it's fun to look at this stuff. Thank you. Thank you for hanging out. Come back again. I look forward to seeing you in the next video. And am I down to the end? Right back to the beginning again, plus all of these. Thanks so much. Goodbye.